Getting answers for Western Massachusetts. This is Western Mass News.
Coming up,
The next matter before the court is the Commonwealth versus Stewart Weldon.
the Springfield man accused of murdering 3 women and concealing their bodies on his property facing a judge virtually today. We hear from the family of one of his alleged victims. 2 days after his son was tragically shot to death in Springfield, we'll hear exclusively from the father of 18-year-old Robert Crocier.
I never planned for my kids or any of my kids to be buried.
Lady Gaga's dog walker recovering in the hospital today after he was shot. The suspect stealing Gaga's 2 dogs. We're talking to local experts to find out why French bulldogs are such a hot commodity. Western Mass News at 6 starts now.
Western Mass News is getting you answers. Good evening, everyone. On this Friday, I'm Chris Pisano. We begin with a story you'll see only here on Western Mass News.
I'm Jordyn Jagolinzer.
Stewart Weldon, the Springfield man accused of murdering 3 women and hiding their bodies on his property, appearing before a judge in a virtual hearing this morning.
Now, the brother of one of those victims is speaking out on the length of time it is taking for the courts to try this case. Western Mass News reporter AUDREY RUSSO is live for us in Springfield with the exclusive details. Audrey.
The court acknowledged just how long it's taken for this case to make its way through the system. But for the families who are waiting for Weldon's day in court, they say closure has taken far too long.
Mr. Weldon, would you state your full name, please?
Weldon.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Weldon.
Good morning, Judge.
Stewart Weldon calmly answering the judge during his video conference hearing Friday morning. This is the latest court appearance in a case Western Mass News has been following for almost 3 years. Weldon was arrested in 2018 and charged with 52 counts. Among the serious are the kidnapping and murdering of 3 women along with rape charges. He pleaded not guilty to all the counts. During the hearing, the judge asked about Weldon's ability to stand trial.
Is there anything in those reports that would suggest that Mr. Weldon would not be competent for trial?
No, Your Honor.
The lawyers on both sides discussed an October trial date. Although the judge acknowledged the pandemic's role in slowing the court system, he ordered a June 28th status update rather than setting an October trial date right then and there.
So this is an important case. It's an older case, and I do want to get it tried.
We've been waiting to try to get some closure.
For Anthony Ryans, October is a long time to wait to get justice for his sister Ernestine. Her body was one of 3 found on Weldon's property.
I would hope going forward that, there's something that can be done to try to expedite the process, because it is grueling for the family.
Again, the judge set a June 28th hearing for a status update and to determine whether or not to set an October trial date. Live in Springfield, AUDREY RUSSO for Western Mass News.
Audrey, thanks for that live report. The 18-year-old shot and killed in Springfield early Wednesday has been identified.
His father speaking for the first time exclusively to Western Mass News reporter Briseida Landaverde on life taken too soon.
It was just a warm environment and it was so nice, and I will cherish that memory for a long time. I'm sorry.
Michael Crocier, emotional as he remembered the last time he saw his son, Robert Crocier. Early Wednesday morning, the 18-year-old was the victim of a shooting in the area of Main and Locust Streets in Springfield. He later died from his injuries. Michael tells Western Mass News, as a young boy, Robert played soccer. His best trait? Being a team player.
Robert was really fast, so he would have a breakaway and it'd just be him and the goalie. He would slow down so another teammate could come and he'd pass the ball to them so they could take the shot.
As a teenager, Michael says Robert had a lot of ups and downs.
But in his core, he had a really good soul, a lot of compassion, a lot of love.
When he got the call that it was Robert who had been shot and killed, Michael says it was his biggest fear come true.
He was starting to get back on track and before this happened.
A life taken too soon.
He didn't get a chance to finish it.
He didn't get a chance to
finish that process of finding out who he wanted to be as a man, as an adult. He had just turned 18, so he was still a teenager. He was an adult. He wasn't even the legal drinking age.
Robert will be laid to rest on Tuesday, something no parent prepares for.
I never planned for my kids or any of my kids to be buried. I thought they were going to be burying me, and they'd go on living their lives.
Michael hopes police are able to find whoever is responsible for his son's death. The Hampden County District Attorney's Office said the investigation is ongoing. For Western Mass News, I'm Briseda Landaverde.
Now to new developments in a case Western Mass News has been following for nearly 2 years. Federal charges have been filed against the employers of Vladimir Zukovsky, the West Springfield man accused of driving his truck and trailer over the center line and killing 7 motorcyclists in Randolph, New Hampshire. Investigators looked into the safety practices of Westfield Transport. According to federal court paperwork obtained by Western Mass News, company president D'Artagnan Gasanoff and vice president Dunyadar Damian Gasanoff are accused of, in part, aiding and abetting the preparation and maintenance of false and fraudulent drivers' daily hour of service electronic logs. One of the motorcyclists who was injured in 2019 says the investigation is just too little too late.
I walk with a cane, so I don't have crutches anymore. My balance is better. My gait's more steady, but it's not nowhere near where I want it to be, because if they were proactive, none of this would have happened.
Zukovsky is facing multiple charges of negligent homicide and driving under the influence.
Turning now to the latest coronavirus numbers in the state over the past 2 weeks, the Massachusetts Department of Public Health reports more than 1,700 new cases of COVID-19 today. That brings the total number of confirmed cases in the Bay State to over 547,000. Nearly 31,000 of those are believed to currently be active. The state is also sadly seeing 46 new deaths. The statewide death toll is now just over 15,700.
There have been calls and even legislation introduced to cancel MCAS testing this school year. But today, after touring a school in Newburyport with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education Commissioner, Governor Charlie Baker explained how important that standardized testing really is this year. He says it will help administrators understand where students stand educationally.
One of the reasons I think the commissioner wants to run some sort of an MCAS program this spring without necessarily having the same stakes on it is just to get a sense about where kids are, so that if we are able to fund pretty robust summer programming, we'll be able to do that to help a lot of kids sort of catch up on where they've been.
The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education is waiving the MCAS graduation requirements for seniors this school year, just as they did last year.
Well, we did get a picture of that full moon rise. Check that out. How gorgeous. It almost looks kind of pink with the sky there. But this is from Nancy in Granby, who took this picture of the full snow moon as it came up over the horizon and the treetops. Absolutely gorgeous. Hopefully you're able to see it at some point tonight. But we do have a lot of cloud cover in place, especially here in Springfield right now. But skies have been pretty cool. There's even a little bit of dramatic color there on the horizon. We're down to 33 degrees. Breezes are on the light side. We are expecting temperatures to keep dropping fairly quick out there tonight. So we've got some lower to middle 30s expected over the next few hours, already in the lower 30s throughout the hill towns. And breezes are going to stay on the light and variable to calm side through the rest of the night as well. High thin clouds will thin out at times and then just gradually get thicker as we go through tomorrow morning. So expect an overcast Saturday. Tonight you might still be able to see some of that full moon. You might be able to see some stars at times. Temperatures will drop into the middle 20s early. By sunrise though, we'll be back to the low 30s. So temperatures will be climbing as the sun comes up. At that point the valley is going to be changing over to rain, but it may take a little bit longer in the hill towns. However, I would say by 10-11 o'clock everybody is over to all rain, and showers look to continue into the mid-afternoon with highs getting back to the low 40s. We'll take a look at the rest of your weekend weather in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Janna, thanks. Earlier this week, pop star, singer, and actress Lady Gaga's 2 French bulldogs were stolen, and her dog walker was shot. Officials say the walker, though, is expected to make a full recovery.
Certainly good news. Western Mass News reporter KAYLA BURTON joins us live now in studio after speaking with local animal experts on why anyone would try and steal these dogs and how this is also a problem right here in Western Mass. Kayla?
Yeah, Chris and Jordan, it's really hard to fathom, and this is really heartbreaking to see. Lady Gaga even offering a $500,000 reward to find her 2 Frenchies, Gustav and Koji, after they were stolen Wednesday night and have yet to be found. Now check this out. This was the scene when Ryan Fisher, Lady Gaga's dog walker, was out at night in Hollywood walking the 2 dogs before a light-colored sedan pulls up. One man restrains Fisher as the other appears to point a gun, telling Fisher to give up the dogs. After the shooting, Fisher falls backward, and then the two men race back to the car and then take off. Western Mass News getting answers from the Thomas J. O'Connor Animal Control and Adoption Center here in Springfield, asking them why steal French Bulldogs.
French Bulldogs in particular are right now one of the most popular and most valuable dogs. It is not uncommon for a sale of one of those to be in excess of $2,000, nearly $3,000 or more.
Even when you're running to do quick errands, because thieves act quickly and these incidents can happen in just a blink of an eye. Now, she also says, beware of the pet scams out there, because thieves can also get you in so many different ways. So staying close and nearby your dogs, as well as pets in general, keeping watch is the safest bet. Live in studio, KAYLA Burton, Western Mass News.
KAYLA, thanks. In Northampton, a Charlemont man is facing charges of armed and masked robbery. This in connection to yesterday's robbery at People's United Bank on King Street. 38-year-old Daniel Jones was virtually arraigned in Northampton District Court today. Police say Jones allegedly demanded money from a teller and implied that he had a gun. He is being held without bail until a dangerousness hearing is held on March 3rd.